Hey, what it do, everyday people? We lit and live again. About to get lit up in the thing. Thanks to everybody who joins in. If you're joining in from Facebook or Twitch, make sure you follow me on Twitch or Facebook, everydaypj. Same thing. You can find me over there. We stay lit, big dog. Thank you to everybody who's coming in. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Feel free to hit the donation. Stop being cheap and donate. You cheap bastards. Hell, Democrats are giving more money to the LGBTQ in Kenya than y'all giving to Everyday PJ and MAGA Mike. I think that's un-American. Y'all should be giving up, hitting that super chat, hitting the Cashapp. Y'all donated more to President Obama's basketball court than y'all giving the MAGA Mike looking ass. Oh, I got a lit video for y'all tonight, man. I told y'all I was going to find some Republican content. Find out what Republicans had to say, what Republicans and MAGA had to say about the White House, Ballroom, and about the $230 million lawsuit in regards to Donald Trump suing the American people and the Department of Justice. And he's suing them where he's actually suing them, and that'll be go over to the people he put in office. So they'll have to decide whether his lawsuit will go through. And then he'll actually have to sign off on his lawsuit. Like Donald Trump, the person, is suing Donald Trump, the administration. And Donald Trump, the elected official, has to sign off on it. Ain't that a... If that ain't... But anyway, enough of the small talk. Let's get down to business. Let's talk about we're gonna get on this White House ballroom. Let's talk about it, because it's been a topic of discussion.
It is nothing like any of the other renovations. I mean, his ballroom is almost double the size of the White House itself, and he's not using taxpayer dollars. He's using his own dollars, maybe, or the dollars of companies that want favorable treatment. But Trump and Caroline Leavitt and the whole administration would rather that this is what we're focused on, and it's really getting away from the real stories of the moment. We are in the midst of a government shutdown. The Republican caucus from New Jersey wrote to Mike Johnson saying, you got to make a short-term deal. Our constituents cannot handle these ACA premium hikes. Our farmers are losing their businesses. No soybeans coming out of America. We bail out Argentina, and then Argentina gets the contract. That's what those texts, remember, with Scott Besson and Brooke Rollins. And just before we came on air, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association said cattlemen and women cannot stand behind President Trump while he undercuts the future of family farmers and ranchers by importing Argentinian beef. Those are the stories of what is happening in America today. That is how Donald Trump's administration is hurting everyday Americans, most of whom voted for him. So the ballroom, it is a monstrosity, but I am choosing to talk about the shutdown and what's happening to our ranchers and our farmers.
Although that is big news for today, we don't care as Republicans. As Republicans, all we want to see is this big, beautiful ballroom funded by our big, beautiful bill, and Trump bringing in $20 trillion into the U.S. economy. if you are a Democrat, you're not paying attention. Donald Trump is doing the big one. Okay? That's what this, I don't know who hired her for Fox News, but she needs to be fired for bringing out the truth.
Can you help us understand, can the president tear down anything he wants without oversight? Can he demolish this building or say the Jefferson Memorial?
So it's not the president who came up with that legal opinion himself. That's a legal opinion that's been held by the NCPC for many years. When it comes to phase one of this project, the tearing down of the current East Wing structure, a submission is not required legally for that. Again, I would just add, can any president do such a thing to the White House grounds? There have been many presidents in the past who have made their mark on this beautiful White House complex.
The worst of all was Obama putting a basketball court over the tennis court like that, hands down, and he fixed the plumbing. That who needed plumbing when he was using outdoor porta potties? But now we're gonna have this big, beautiful ballroom spanning across the West Wing, the North Wing, the South Wing, and it's gonna have Trump's name on it.
So it sounds like the answer is yes, he can tear down whatever he wants. And then secondly,
that's not what we're saying. That's a legal opinion that's been held for many years.
And interpreting it.
No, it's something that presidents have done for years and years. In fact, I have some photos here. Thank you, Pat, to show you the construction that's taken place on the White House grounds, the construction of the East Terrace as well. You look at the construction of the West Wing expansion in 1934. So, look. This is a legal opinion that's been held for many years. Look at this is 1950. It looks a lot like what you were seeing today.
Can he demolish anything he wants?
What do you think that
oversight?
rubble is? How did that rubble get there?
Right. So I'm asking, and then back to the donor.
Go ahead, Ray.
See, she's just talking about adding and restoring. Trump is demolishing stuff. Okay, that's a total difference. But he's rebuilding something bigger and beautifuler. Okay, bigger and beautifuler. Okay, Obama put in plumbing and a basketball court. There's no outrage for that. There's no outrage for the basketball court.
I find it very interesting that we're having this conversation because FDR actually built the East Wing, put a pool in for himself. President Obama was a basketball player, put a basketball court in.
He put a pool in because he had polio. What kind of president has polio? I thought they got rid of polio in the 40s. But he put a pool in because he couldn't walk. Donald Trump can walk. That's why he's building a ballroom, so he could dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. You know, you put in what you use. Obama, blacks, they like basketball, so Obama put in a basketball court. Truman had polio, so he put in a pool so he could exercise his bones. Trump likes to dance. So why not put in a ballroom? I don't see nothing wrong with it.
And President Nixon was a bowler and put a bowling alley. All personal things they wanted to do. The president is doing an addition to the People's House. It's going to be able to hold hundreds of people. Instead of cramming people in, foreign visitors and other folks that we've crammed into these rooms, we're going to have an actual ballroom that we can properly host people in the White House. And he's paying for it, and private donors are paying for it. So any correlation, he's putting his personal dollars in along with private donors.
The pool and the basketball court did not disrupt the structure of the White House. That's the first thing.
And
the second thing,
the changes.
But hold on, Tim. The second thing.
I find it very interesting that
the pool had to go. They filled it up with cement. It was a waste of space. Okay? No one likes pools. Who even swims in Washington, D.C.? Okay? Washington, D.C. is full of black people. Last I heard, they don't like to swim. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. But we need a ballroom anyway. You know what I'm saying? Trump likes to dance. The other president, he liked to bowl. Was it Nixon? Whoever it was, he likes to bowl. Obama likes basketball. Every president gets to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it. But as long as Donald Trump is paying for it himself, it's okay, right?
we're having this conversation because.
Have you raised the full $300 million needed to fund your ballroom? And how much specifically are you donating to this construction
Actually, we raised, I
project?
think, $350 million.
Yesterday, it was just $300 million. Fun fact. Although Trump says that he is going to pay for it, I am inclined to believe he won't pay a single cent for it. But whatever. That's just my opinion.
All donor money and money that we put up, we've raised. It's going to be. It's going to cost right in the neighborhood of $300 million. It's been expanded and made.
Expanded? I thought it was just going to just touch the wall. It wouldn't even touch the first. It wouldn't touch the White House. Cost $100 million. Now it's $200 million. 300. Now 350. Yesterday was 300. So they added another $50 million overnight. I guess somebody made them a call and said, "Look, we just realized the gold fixtures that you were gonna pay for, they're gonna cost about another $50 million. But hey, it's not like how many people was in America? 350 million. That's $1 million per person. Not saying that we need it, but I'm just saying it would be nice.
Absolutely, it'll be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world, I think.
And how much specifically are you donating to it personally?
How much am I donating? I won't be able to tell you until I finish, but I'll donate whatever's needed. I'll tell you that. Do I have a name for the? I won't get into that now.
Have you raised the full $300 million needed to fund?
I know what we should call it. Donald Trump's Ballroom. Like the ring of that. MAGA Mike likes the ring of that. Donald Trump's Ballroom. I can't wait till I see it in big, bold letters.
The president's cost estimate has changed several times. I think it's up to $300 million now. Given the nature of all this, will the White House commit to releasing all of the donors and how much they're spending and how much of his own money the president is putting on the line to this?
We have released the full list of donors thus far. Perhaps there will be more people who want to generously contribute to this project. And the president, yes, has committed his own resources. And when he releases that information, which I'm very confident he will, you will all see that.
We'll see a dollar figure from the president?
Yes, he will.
The president's cost estimate has changed.
Well, let's see if we can find the donor list. Okay. I'm going to let y'all see this for yourselves. Because y'all going to think I'm shucking and jiving. Previous estimates were $200 million. Here's a full list of White House ballroom donors. Altria Group, Inc. I have no idea who they are, so I'm going to go ahead and Google them. It's an American corporation with one of the world's largest producers and marketers of tobacco, cigarettes, and medical products in the treatment and illness caused by tobacco. Wow. So they produce the tobacco and they provide the medical products and treatment of illnesses caused by what? What kind of racket is that? They're making you sick and then they're paying for they got the medical supplies that treat you while you're sick. That is, y'all believe that shit? That's crazy. I am definitely in the wrong business. Anyway, Amazon, Apple. Oh, it's thundering outside. Okay. Booz Allen Hamilton. Let's find out who the hell is Booz Allen Hamilton. Building advanced technology to fast-track results for government, boosting efficiency, saving money, and safeguarding America. Part of Project 25, probably. Caterpillar Inc. Oh! Caterpillar Inc.? Is this the construction Caterpillar? Tell me it's not the construction Caterpillar. American company and the world's largest manufacturer of construction and mining equipment. Are they using Caterpillar to build? Man, talk about double dipping. Talk about you pay me to build it. I charge you 300. I charge you 200 million to use my supplies, and then, or not. They're probably charging about 25 million, and then I'll donate 5 million to the building of. You see how this works? Coinbase, Comcast. Let's see who Jay Pepe and Amelia. They. Among the donors who is the Fanhula? Oh, they own sugarcane plantations, half of which are in Florida, other half in the Dominican Republic. The main sugar holding company is American Sugar Refiner. Okay, that's a sugar company. I don't know. Might have to call ICE on them. Might have to drop a dime on them. Google, HP Inc., Lockheed Martin, that's a government thing. Meta Platforms, Micron Technology, Microsoft, Next Era Energy, Palantir Technologies, Ripple, Reynolds America, T-Mobile, Tethered America, Union Pacific Railroad. Okay, let me see who this Adelson Family Foundation. Who are they? Funds research in neurology, immunology, and oncology. Okay, they got some money. Stefan E. Brody. These are the private donors. Who is he? He was found guilty by a jury of conspiring to trade with Cuba in a violation of American-Cuba embargo currently in place. This Negro is a criminal. This was in 2004. He's a criminal. Criminals hang with criminals. Stefan E. Brody. He's a white guy, by the way. He's not a Negro. He's a criminal. It's a bunch of other people in here. It's a lot of families. So y'all can see it's an actual list of the donors. It's an actual list of the donors. Welcome. A Minute with Misha. I appreciate you. A Minute with Misha follows me on Twitch. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitch, okay? Where y'all can see all the any black people on that list. I don't see any Deshans or Quinishas on this list, so probably not. Okay. Let's see here. We got a few. Oh, this is an NFL owner. He owns the Mavs and the Ducks. Edward and Sherry Glazer. Yeah, they NFL owners. They control First Allied Corporation and HRG Group, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of the National Football League, and the Manchester United of the Premier League. Okay. We see where that money coming from. More Florida. Let's see here. Oh, I'm going to see who Harold Ham is. Oddly. Harold Ham. He's in the oil and gas business. I don't think any black people's on this list. Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. I'm going to just assume they're not black. Crypto investors. So these are the Winklevoss brothers. Okay. Now it makes sense. They are into crypto. Billionaires, okay? Oh, those are the ones who created Facebook first. Remember the Facebook movie? Yeah. That was them. They were the guys that Zuckerberg stole Facebook, the idea from Facebook. Yeah, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. Okay, so there y'all have it. Let's get back to business, bitches.
Several times, I think it's up to 300 million now.
You mentioned any construction project comes with changes. The president had initially said that this project wouldn't interfere with or touch the current structure. Now he says to do this properly, he realized that the East Wing had to be demolished. This is the people's house. Why not inform the public of that change and when it was decided that the East Wing would have to be demolished?
Look, again, with any construction project, changes come, and we have informed all of you. We've been keeping you apprised of this project. We've shown you the renderings, and if you look at the renderings, it's very clear the East Wing was going to be modernized. Instead, in fact, I said that in the briefing when we initially introduced this plan to all of you and to the public.
But the East and tearing down are two different things.
Well, again, the plans changed when the president heard counsel from the architects and the construction companies who said that in order for this East Wing to be modern and beautiful for many, many years to come, for it to be a truly strong and stable structure, this phase one that we're now in was necessary. And the president wants to do right by the people's house. And so that's exactly what he's doing. It's going to be, again, like I said, much more stable, strong, secure, and more beautiful than ever once it's complete.
In order to do it right, you got to do it right. I don't know if y'all have ever done construction before, but if you ever start on something and you realize, oh well, this won't align properly with this because this structure has this flaw, and you have to go in and you have to tear down more of the building. The more than we want it, we'll just take off a few inches. That's all they're doing, taking off a few inches, you know what I'm saying?
I do not understand why all of these liberals are so freaked out by Donald Trump building a ballroom onto the White House. It's completely normal and it's nothing to worry about. Well, if it was completely normal and nothing to worry about, then why did Donald Trump in the White House tell staff of the Treasury and White House to stop taking pictures of the ballroom construction and no longer share it with the public? It's kind of like the Epstein files. If you're not worried about what is in the Epstein files, then you would be for releasing the Epstein files for the people to...
MAGA Mike thought she was MAGA, but I've been bamboozled. She tricked me into thinking that she was a MAGA, and she's not. She's a liberal.
...be held accountable that are in them. With the White House ballroom construction, if Donald Trump and the White House were not doing things that they shouldn't be, then they would be totally fine with people taking photos and sharing it to the internet. But I also think this is a great time to remind all of you that the White House is the house of the people, not the White House that is Donald Trump's, to do whatever he desires to it. I know that might shock a lot of you, but Donald Trump cannot do absolutely everything that he wants.
I mean, do y'all share pictures of y'all getting dressed for y'all wedding before, the wedding happens? No, you share the pictures afterwards. You know what I mean? I get it. We don't want to share. When you renovating your house, you don't take pictures before and in the middle and after. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You wait to show the finished product. You don't want to show people like how you got from here to here, Let's be real, people. We don't want to, come on, nobody does that. When Obama built his basketball court, he didn't show y'all bringing in the basketball goals, did he? Come on, man. Let's be real, people.
It'll be built over on the east side, and it will be beautiful. It'll be views of the Washington Monument. It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite place. I love it.
He didn't know at the time that he was going to have to dig into the new building. See, y'all didn't really understand construction. Y'all don't understand construction. Okay? And once he got into it, he said, I got to keep preserving the rest of the building. So I got to take out a little bit more to make sure it preserves the rest of the building, because the whole infrastructure. Y'all don't know construction like Trump. Who knows construction better than Trump?
Just wanted to ask, because in July the White House said that it would cost $200 million. Yesterday the president said $300 million.
Is 300 million now the operative figure, and why did it go up by so much?
300 million is the figure, and again, it's not going to cost the taxpayers a dime. So we look forward to this project continuing, and we will continue to keep everyone apprised on it. Perhaps the president will even bring you all out to see it one day.
Just wanted to...
MAGA Mike would love to see that building. That big, beautiful, white building.
We're cutting three things: waste, fraud, and abuse.
The construction of the new White House ballroom will begin.
Waste, fraud. It's about 200 million.
It's quite beautiful.
Waste, fraud. I'm good at building things. There's never been a president that was good at ballrooms. I'm really good.
To be fair, he's right. Trump is good at ballroom. I mean, just check out this footage of him dancing it up.
Fraud and abuse.
And we're not doing anything about health insurance premiums. Then, for the love of God, what are we doing?
Waste, fraud.
This week on Extreme Makeover Home Edition, we'll make the White House just as glamorous as Mar-a-Lago.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. We're cutting three things.
So we all know Trump is completely destroying the East Wing of the White House right now to build his very own ballroom that's supposed to honor American luxury. But I couldn't help but notice something very strange and off-putting about the pictures Trump was showing of it today. These renderings look identical to the ballroom at the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, Russia. Think about what's going on here. Trump is destroying the East Wing of the White House.
That's just a coincidence. Everyone has a ballroom with gold fixtures all over the place. It ain't just Russia. Africa has it. Venezuela has it. Colombia has it. I mean, hell, Pablo Escobar had a ballroom with gold fixtures. There's nothing wrong with it.
White House to build a ballroom that's modeled after one of Putin's palaces. As you can tell from these pictures, the new design almost perfectly replicates the Winter Palace's imperial style. But the resemblance isn't just uncanny, it's also very symbolic. It screams power, excess, and allegiance to the same authoritarian aesthetic that Trump has always admired. And of course, Trump is trying to claim that private donors and himself are covering all of the costs, but we know that's not the case. Because he's trying to sue the Department of Justice for $230 million right now, almost the exact same cost as the White House ballroom. How crazy.
Again, that's just a coincidence. Neither have anything to do with either.
Crazy is that? He's demanding reimbursement for the investigations and lawsuits tied to his own misconduct, including the Russia probe. So in other words, he's asking the American people to pay him back for being held accountable. That means we're the ones footing the bill for Trump's vanity project that's disguised as a White House upgrade. The East Wing is falling right now, and with it, so is the illusion that Trump ever cared about this country more than himself.
Wait. What?
These are the donors. This is the list. Ripple. Shout out to all the donors. Everybody who donated to this big, beautiful ballroom.
What? Liberals all around the country, all jumping in arms right now. They upset. You know, liberals, they got to be mad at something. Nothing can ever go right. Donald Trump solved the Hamas and Israel conflict. No, we don't want that. No king protests. They mad because Donald Trump is demolishing a part of the White House to build a spectacular ballroom. They saying that he should not be damaging the White House like that. That he should not be adding anything to the White House. Meanwhile, they let Barack Obama build a whole damn basketball court. Oh, you all forgot about that, huh? It's cool when Barry builds a damn basketball court, but it ain't cool for Donald Trump, mind you, using his own private funds to build something that's a little sophisticated. Y'all don't shut the hell up. Y'all just trying to be mad at something, at somebody. Presidents in the past have demolished and rebuilt that damn side of the White House for decades and decades. I mean, damn, FDR is the one who built the damn Oval Office. Teddy Roosevelt is the one that built the whole West Wing. Oh no, but Donald Trump doing it because I don't like it. Are you all paying rent there? Are you all paying utilities? I tell you, boy, liberals want to be upset at anything and everything. Besides the Pride administration, damn near destroyed us. Shit sounds crazy. Biden administration would have put us in a damn Cold War, and you all would have been like, oh no, Biden doing great. What?
Guys, I just wanted to point out that when they show you the destruction of the White House, this is the part that got knocked down. See this little awning over here? That's what they knocked down because they need space for the building that's going there. This is where the president works. This is where the Oval Office is. This is where you see everything going on in the White House. This is where the president lives. When you do a White House tour, this is where you go. This is the East Wing, which, in case you were unaware, started as an indoor pool for FDR. At this building that everyone's like, it's so historic, you can't take it down. It was a fucking pool. The president, FDR, spent your money to build an indoor pool. Of course, fucking Teddy Roosevelt decided to do some construction. Fucking Truman put a bowling alley. And Obama put a fucking basketball court. And yes, I understand the stereotype. Yeah, guys, all this crying and all these pictures you're seeing, and oh, the destruction. It's the fucking side of the East Wing. So they can put a new building right here. Oh, and by the way, it's the first construction done on the White House that we're not paying for. So shut the fuck up. Guys,
I just want to talk about this basketball
court. And yeah, Obama put a fucking basketball.
Look at this basketball court. He spent $1 trillion on this basketball court. All he did was add an NBA style goal and some yellow lines. He could have did better. But no. He was just robbed by construction workers because they did this whole construction project on this basketball court. And look at it. It doesn't even have walls. No, there's no lights. Nothing. You can only play in the daytime. Obama wasted taxpayer money on a basketball court. You know, he could have just went down to the local gym, but no, he wants to bring everybody to the White House to shoot some hoops.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, you know, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have. I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be...
The Democrats admitting that the shutdowns are terrible. They admitting it. And they admitting that they're using it for leverage. See, this is why y'all need to be like MAGA Mike.
I am still reeling from looking at pictures of a demolished White House. There is a gaping hole in our White House. Are these the same people that sat around for 4 years saying that Joe Biden was insufferable, the worst president ever, all of those things? Because if that were the case, why did they not get out and protest and flood the streets like we all did this past weekend? It's not aligning.
You see, all you have to do is let liberals complain, because they complain so much that they eventually show how incorrect they are. First of all, we got work, we got jobs, we got things that we have to do. Regardless of whether we want to get out and protest or not, it ain't going to change anything. We're going to have to deal with Biden for 4 years. So that's what we did. We dealt with that president for 4 years. And you know what happened during those 4 years? Even though, like you said, we did not protest, here's what happened. First, y'all took away our freedom of speech. Y'all told us that we had to say them, they. We couldn't say yes, sir, no, ma'am, because that's disrespectful and no longer acceptable. And if we said it wrong or did it wrong, we got in trouble. Y'all then told us online that we could not express our concerns about the validity of the election. And if we did, we were called election deniers and we were reported and we were kicked offline. Then made sure that our president of choice could not be online because you kicked him off of line and banned him from social media. Then you left our borders open so that people can come in hundreds and thousands at a time, as you guys recorded this on the news, and you guys were just fine with it, even though all of you guys are on Snap and can't afford to live already. Then you spent the rest of the time calling us trash, calling us Yahtzees, calling us sexist, misogynist, discriminant, horrible people, terrorists. Like y'all went in on us for 4 years and y'all were in control. So for 4 years, we literally dealt with y'all putting your thumbs on us, taking away our free speech, and creating horrible, dangerous rhetoric about us. And all we did was we prayed to our God. And I have videos where I said, meet me at the polls. You can take away all my freedoms all you want to, but the response is going to come at the polls, and it did. And then when we showed up at the polls without attacking anybody or doing anything, and we voted for our president of choice, y'all continued to do what you're doing today, which is still the same thing that you did during the 4 years that you were in charge, which is calling us Yahtzees and crazies and misogynists and sexists and terrorists and authoritarians and dictators and all this kind of stuff. It never stopped. It never ended. So with all that craziness that went on in the 4 years, why are we going to complain about Donald Trump building a ballroom? We literally gave hundreds and thousands to Ukraine the whole 4 years of your Biden administration presidency. We were just handing out money to everything. Donald Trump is privately funding a ballroom. It's cool with me. Don't care. I mean, y'all have to stop with all craziness.
I like how they be lying to themselves, but then also, like, bro, don't you gotta go to work? Why you over here making TikToks? You should be at work. You shouldn't be worried about what Democrats are saying. Go to work. Go to work, bud. Go to work. It's that simple. Your voice doesn't matter. Your voice doesn't matter. Go to work. You have a job to do.
Okay, so I'm going to do this part quickly because I don't want to end up in a reel that you're showing tomorrow, and I'm not actually having a meltdown about the ballroom. But I will say that it is nothing like any of the other renovations. I mean, his ballroom is almost double the size of the White House itself, and he's not using taxpayer dollars. He's using his own dollars, maybe, or the dollars of companies that want favorable treatment, like Google, Palantir, all with big contracts with him. But Trump and Caroline Leavitt and the whole administration would rather that this is what we're focused on, and it's really getting away from the real stories of the moment. We are in the midst of a government shutdown. The Republican caucus from New Jersey wrote to Mike Johnson saying, you got to make a short-term deal. Our constituents cannot handle these ACA premium hikes. Our farmers are losing their businesses. No soybeans coming out of America. We bail out Argentina, and then Argentina gets the contract. That's what those texts, remember, with Scott Besson and Brooke Rollins. And just before we came on air, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association said cattlemen and women cannot stand behind President Trump while he undercuts the future of family farmers and ranchers by importing Argentinian beef. Those are the...
I can't wait to get my hand on some of that Argentina horse beef.
All I hear in their private therapy sessions gone public is total hatred toward President Trump and a complete ignoring of history where at least 13 presidents did the same thing, some of them with taxpayer dimes.
Okay, so I'm going to do this part quickly because I don't want to end up in a reel that you're showing tomorrow, and I'm not actually having a meltdown about the...
Barack Obama had a whole basketball court and physical fitness center built just for himself. And we know Donald Trump don't use it, but that's neither here nor there. Okay? Let's just get the ballroom. Donald Trump loves to dance. What's wrong with a man wanting to dance? I think it's very un-American of you guys just to not let this man have his ballroom and be so upset when Barack Obama had a fitness center. Because why? He wanted to be in shape for who? Michelle? Come on, guys. Let's be serious. We know Barack Obama was cheating on Michelle.
I believe there's a lot of fake outrage right now because nearly every single president who has lived in this beautiful White House behind me has made modernizations and renovations of their own.
So while the White House says the outrage is fake, the demolition, construction, upgrades, however you want to characterize it, they're very real. The question's also very real. Among them, who's paying for it? The president has said as recently as Tuesday that this $200 million project is fully paid for by private donors, including himself. Some of those names have been
I want y'all to see right there. I'm goddamn muted. Who owns this bulldozer right here is a private donor of the ballroom. The White House ballroom is a private donor right there. Okay? So they getting paid twice.
Released, but the White House has still not put out a comprehensive list or a breakdown of the donations. And just about 24 hours ago, when news broke that the president was seeking a settlement from the Justice Department over past investigations into him, he suggested maybe that money, taxpayer money, could foot the bill.
If I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House where we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction.
Ooh, you let them talk long enough, they might tell you the truth. So, the private donors are donating to the White House. Trump is suing the Department of Justice for $230 million, and he said he's going to donate that to them. I don't know, dog. I don't know. Sounds suspicious to me.
So there's an element to this mansion makeover that we're seeing. Unity, Democrats mostly outraged, and Republicans, for the most part, taking a different approach.
What about just uprooting this is an iconic building?
Manu, I will just say this. I made this point yesterday, that I hear all of a sudden from my liberal friends that they're very concerned about our history. Really, these are the same people who tore down every statue they could get their hands on in the last 4 years. Christopher Columbus, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt.
Christopher Columbus was a murderer and a rapist. In fact, we just watched a video like 2 days ago where they was like, Christopher Columbus didn't bring over black people. They were already here. The Portuguese and the other people, white people had nothing to do with that. It was the Portuguese and the Spaniards that brought over slaves. The white people didn't benefit from that at all.
They didn't have any concern for history then. Now all of a sudden, like, oh, the facade of the East Wing is iconic. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break.
All right, let's get off the sidelines, head into the arena. My panel is here. CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams, Republican strategist and pollster Kristen Soltis Anderson, former Democratic Congressman of South Carolina Joe Cunningham, and Republican strategist, former Trump campaign advisor David Urban. We're also joined by the author and journalist Kate Anderson Brower. She's written several New York Times best-selling books about the White House, among other accolades. On the left side of your screen, we are joined by our arena text chain with additional analysis from some of our top reporters and contributors. And Kate Anderson Brower, before we dig into the politics of this, I wanted to bring you in to give us a sense of what is gone, right? Because we're now understanding that essentially the entire East Wing is to be demolished, that was shown in some of the renderings that the White House had released over the summer. But of course, it was overlooked in many ways because the president had gone out and said, well, it's just going to be nearby. It's not going to be overtaking the East Wing. If the East Wing is gone, what does that mean? What has gone with it?
Well, it'll mean the First Lady will have no place to work. Her staff will have no place to work inside the White House itself. There'll be...
Have y'all ever seen the First Lady work? I haven't seen her work at all. In fact, she's non-existent. Where in the world is the First Lady?
Probably working in the Eisenhower Executive Office building. But it's heartbreaking, I think, to see those images of the East Wing being demolished because it is so symbolic of the president's spouse and the already limited role that a president's spouse has. The White House is a presidential home. It's not a palace. And so I think people are up in arms because it's going to be very lopsided to have a 90,000 square foot addition on a 55,000 square foot house.
So it's essentially twice the size, or almost twice the size, as what will exist there. That's remarkable. Can you walk us through, what history was in this part of the building? I mean, when people say that there should have been more input from historians or others, I mean, what's there that's now been destroyed?
Well, I mean, it's been where the First Lady has worked since 1977. It's where Rosalind Carter started going to the East Wing every day. Before then, even Eleanor Roosevelt worked from the residence. But, you know, when Michelle Obama was First Lady, there was a staff of upwards of 20 people there. She and Dr. Biden would go to their offices all the time. I know that I spoke with one of Dr. Biden's aides who said even after the first Trump term, so much of the East Wing offices had been given over to the military who had made SCIFs there. So a lot of Dr. Biden's staff already worked in the Eisenhower Executive Office building, which is difficult when you're trying to write speeches and craft memos. But Teddy Roosevelt created the East Wing and Franklin Roosevelt expanded it to cover up in construction of the presidential bunker during World War II. But it's an important symbolic part of American history. And that is why I think people are so up in arms seeing it blow.
I mean, Trump probably want to get rid of it because Melania never used it. Like, if your wife never used a part of the house, wouldn't you be like, shit, you know, I can find something better to do with this space. I'll just create a ballroom. I'll turn this into a man cave. Or, you know, come on, man. He's not the first husband to take over his wife's empty space. Like, we're making this a big deal. Because Melania never works over there. So just Trump is finding something better to do with it, right?
Like this.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. David Urban, it does seem that while obviously
not up in arms, but
Caroline Leavitt is out there, you know, saying this outrage is fake. David, they do seem to also be trying to suppress photos of it, right? Which seems to suggest that they might know that this doesn't look great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just make a historical note. I think Dr. Jill Biden worked out of the Oval Office. But I'm bummed. Sorry.
Okay.
Listen, I think, you know, I'm not privy to what is what they're tearing down or what the remnants of the White House look like on that side. But I had heard people talk about, you know, they don't want to have pictures out to maybe compromise what the windows look like, some of the security apparatus that's in place at the White House that keeps the president and his family and others at work there safe. So I can't believe that. You know, they don't, you know, no one's taking pictures of a lot of stuff, especially in and around the White House and the inner machinations of if you go up to the windows in the Oval or some of these places, they're really thick. And I'm sure they would take umbrage if you started snapping candids of a lot of that stuff when you're in there to begin with, let alone from across the street where you're really getting, you know, our adversaries.
I mean, in fairness, right now, what they're taking pictures of is not going to be there, you know, in however many months.
No, it's
right?
nothing. And I think, look, this visual is not great, but I'd say let's wait for a few 18 months, 24 months. The new reimagined East Wing may be much better. There may be bigger offices. There may be SCIFs. I don't think it's going to be simply a 90,000 square foot ballroom. You're going to walk in.
Really? Because the president says it's going to be a 90,000.
It's going to be just a giant ballroom. It's going to be like a gymnasium. I think there'll be offices. There'll be you know, places to work. There'll be perhaps increased space for other people.
Yeah, a lot of work will be done in that ballroom, of course. The air conditioner bill will be high as hell.
I would say everybody needs to exhale. Let's just wait and see.
Congressman? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, except you.
I'll exhale. Look, I think the optics are bad in the sense, you know, I know the history is significant, but it's just like your boss in a company going out and buying a new car or a new house while they're doing layoffs within the company. Or
it's a little bit let them eat cake.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Similar to that, but yeah, the optics are bad as Americans are struggling to survive and afford health care and all the issues. And meanwhile, the government's shut down and this renovation is taking place. But this shouldn't be the story that Democrats focus on. It should be more of a byline in a larger issue, in that, you know, the administration is sending billions of dollars to other governments. He's seeking hundreds of millions of dollars for his own pockets out of the DOJ, the $200 million renovation. You know, all the while Americans are suffering.
But be fair, just to put a big note on this. $200 million is donated to the National Park Service, right? It's not going to Donald Trump. It's going to the Park Service, which is then using the money to do this construction. So it's not like Donald Trump sit with a checkbook, or anybody in the Trump campaign has a checkbook. It's the people who build monuments, who build these buildings on the mall, are writing the checks and funding this. And
Should be
and
some
running construction.
transparency, though.
Kate looks like she wants to jump in. Kate, did you have something on that?
Well, I think that ethically it's a little bit of a murky territory because they know when they're giving lots and lots of money, these giant corporations, and we know some of the names already, it's got to be to curry favor with the administration.
Or
so
maybe they just love our country.
Okay.
Elliot, jump in.
You know, when the White House was created, it's interesting because George
Donald Trump is not a temporary tenant. He'll be there well through 2028 to into 2032, according to Steve Bannon.
Do you know that when you have a state dinner, you have to use a tent and there's nowhere to go to the bathroom, so you have to have a porta potty? We are making dignitaries from foreign countries go to the bathroom in porta potties. This is a gift to the country, a gift to any other Democrat president. Barack Obama spent $400 million to do a basketball court and rewire a few pipes. This thing is a legacy. Of course he's naming it after himself. Trump steaks, Trump water, Trump wine. I'm not surprised. Greg understands also a well-timed F-bomb, nothing better than that. The problem is Democrats think Trump got to the White House through F-bombs. He didn't. They look at him as so one-dimensional. The guy can drop a few F-bombs, but he could also be the most tender man when he's comforting families in pain or orchestrating grand...
Like shooting alley hoops with paper towels. That was so comforting to Puerto Rico.
And strategy with power players throughout the world, or a policy wonk. He's kind of a policy wonk. So this guy's multidimensional because he's a person, and he honed these skills over decades in the media. It's not something you can copy in a playbook. Politics is about people. The Democrats are so obsessed with identity politics, they don't know their own identity. They have to figure out who they are. And in a really simple way, Bubba did it, Barack Obama did it, they're going to have to do it themselves. Donald Trump became president because he was himself. Remember all those people, oh, he has to be more presidential. And he was like, no, I'm going to do it my way. I can be modern day presidential. And that's why you see him strafing people with feces. The challenge all politicians nationally.
Is that funny? American people? You're shitting on American people? That's hilarious.
Have is you have to embrace your base, and then you have to unite it with the moderate establishment part of your party, and then you have to peel off a slight majority of independents. That's how you win national elections. The problem the Democrats are having is there's this wide gap between their base and the rest of their party. Trans, open borders, no cash bail. There's no way the establishment wing can get out there and say they're for that stuff because then they lose. So they have to lie about it or they have to be sneaky about it. And then the voters can sniff that out. We can smell phoniness. Smell it right here at the set. Do you know that?
First name Trump derangement syndrome. Now there's a new diagnosis of ballroom derangement syndrome, with the White House's major facelift being a Democratic point of discussion. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt bombarded with questions surrounding what should be a relatively innocuous renovation. Watch.
In July, the White House said that it would cost $200 million. Yesterday, the president said $300 million. Is $300 million now the operative figure, and why did it go up?
Well, today is $350 million. They added another $50 million overnight.
So much. Is there like an official name? Like, are we calling it the Trump Ballroom?
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
Joining us now to react is Fox News contributor and senior writer for the Washington Examiner, Joe Concha. That is a lot of questions for the ballroom. Do you think that people across the country are like hyper-focused on the ballroom, or is it just the reporters in the briefing room yesterday?
Oh, I don't think one person, if you go to a soccer game or a barbecue this weekend, tailgate, no one's talking about this except those suffering from BDS, ballroom derangement syndrome. If you suffer from that for more than 4 hours, see your shrink. Look, then President Obama spent $400 million nearly on White House renovations in 2010, and the media wasn't all of it. Jackie Kennedy renovated the White House, and it was so embraced by the media and the public, they actually televised a special on it. It was viewed by 80 million viewers, and Jackie won an Emmy Award for it. So why do I get the feeling that if maybe a Democratic administration was adding a ballroom to the White House, that we wouldn't hear one word from those like Hillary Clinton, who went off on this, talking about the sanctity of the White House and how special it is when she and Bill Clinton literally rented out the Lincoln bedroom to 938 people. So maybe take...
The one thing I can't get over is how Obama took a tennis court and changed it to a basketball court. Like, I mean, golly. Like, and y'all worried about this ballroom? That's like, and Obama used taxpayer dollars on that. It's just un-American how people are just up in arms about this ballroom, but won't say anything about Obama's basketball court. I find it, shameful.
2 seats on this. You see all the renovations there on your screen. You could go down the line, Republican or Democrat. Teddy Roosevelt, he built the West Wing. Let's see, Taft created the Executive Office, Oval Office. FDR added an entire East Wing and even built an indoor pool for himself, which I would have done, of course. Truman gutted the entire White House. Nixon added a bowling alley before he Munsoned himself.
First name Trump derangement syndrome now.
Under Joe Biden, we were dealing with different issues. I know it's crazy, but I seem to remember on this show and talking to people, we talked about crime. We talked about a broken border. We talked about transmania. We talked about the price of eggs and the price of gas. And we talked about a president who wasn't there. God, from 20 to 24, I wish we had this problem. I wish that we were sitting around talking about Joe Biden trying to fix up the White House rather than letting his son do lines off the toilet in the East Wing. Hillary criticizing someone for denigrating the White House. I mean, at least when Trump wanted the floor stained, he got a professional. And it's true, Trump is building a ballroom, but for Hillary's husband, every room was a ballroom.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, young lady? This is a press gimmick. When they focus on some ephemeral activity and they pretend it's the only thing happening. It's like, doing a damning story on a fireman caught talking on his phone and leaving out the part that he had just rescued orphans and puppies from a fire. And he's on the phone calling his wife saying, honey, I adopted an orphan and a chihuahua. That part is not in the story. So instead they say they forget about what has Trump been working on? Well, the Middle East peace deal. That was just a few days ago. He's dealing with, Putin and Zelensky. That's tough work. He's got immigration. He's got the crime, the border, you name it. Jeff Daniels is right. Lincoln would definitely not release an AI meme. And also, Ben Franklin would never call an Uber. Thomas Jefferson would never post his orgies on Pornhub. No. That's for sure. It's amazing how Trump could take comedic actors, saw them there, and flip them into these humorless gas bags where he actually goes on TV. That guy is a comedic actor and he's as funny as shingles. I think the issue is that these people, and I'll say everybody from De Niro to Jeff Daniels, they have a problem with Trump because he's real. He's not playing a role. These people find joy in their characters and being inside a character, but when they're not in it, they're detached. They're dissociated. Their reality and their thoughts and the world around them, they're not connected to it. Imagine your whole life where you're happy or being someone else. And then you're faced with somebody like Trump who's happy being Trump and you don't understand it. It's like these are people that are just not comfortable when they aren't acting. That's what makes a great actor, is not having no self. Not having a self. Anyway, that's my psychoanalysis for today. I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Emily?
I ain't gonna lie. Doing lines off the toilet seat is crazy. But it's true. Let's not act like y'all ain't never went to the bathroom stall and did a couple bumps. Like, shit, let's be real.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. All right, Caroline. Are the Democrats jealous that Trump's building this big, beautiful ballroom?
It certainly appears that way, Jesse, and I believe there's a lot of fake outrage right now because nearly every single president who has lived in this beautiful White House behind me has made modernizations and renovations of their own. And in fact, presidents for decades in the modern time have quipped about how they wish they had a larger event space here at the White House that can hold hundreds more people than the current East Room and State Dining Rooms can. In fact, President Obama notably complained that during his tenure, he had to hold a state visit on the South Lawn and get a very expensive tent. If you talk to journalists who have covered the White House for decades, as I do here every single day, they will also tell you that administration after administration have publicly and privately spoken about the need for a larger event space. So while many presidents have privately dreamt about this, it's President Trump who is actually doing something about it. And he is the builder in chief. In large part, he was reelected back to this people's house because he's good at building things. He has done it his entire life, his entire career. And construction is a process at the end. The East Wing, which is an entirely separate structure from the executive mansion you see behind me, will be more modern and beautiful than ever. And then on top of that, the White House is going to have a big, beautiful ballroom for generations of Americans to come. And the best part of it all, it's not a dime of the taxpayers' money. The president has worked hard to privately fund this entire project from start to finish.
Yeah,
Well, my thing is, I had to add in my 2 cents. It's not that it'll be around for generations to come. And it's not that it won't be a big, beautiful ballroom. And it's not that there's even some construction going on at the White House, because really, who really cares? I think the most important thing here is the cost. The cost and the donors. So it went from 100 to 200 to 300, now $350 million, along with a lawsuit on the Department of Justice, who he says could be funding this thing. Now, Trump is a great builder, but there's a list of lawsuits in Trump's past of him not paying his builders. So, I think that's the bigger issue within all this. I don't think it's really like, demolishing the building, the White House. I don't really get the outrage for it. It's the payment of it. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, all right, okay, you're going to use American dollars to do it? Okay, but now he says, I'm going to privately fund it. And then it comes out, hey, he's suing the Department of Justice at the same time. Like, what are we doing? But I don't know. Maybe y'all see it different. Do y'all see it different? I don't know.
These renderings, and it kind of got me thinking, he's likely going to go down as the greatest builder of this era, and you've been in on a lot of those meetings with him. Has, to your knowledge, has the subject of rebuilding the Holy Temple in Jerusalem come up?
It has not. No. It has not. I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
These renderings, and it kind of got me.
So it sounds like the answer is yes, he can tear down whatever he wants. And then secondly,
that's not what we're saying. That's a legal opinion that's been held for many years. And
interpreting it.
no, it's something that presidents have done for years and years. In fact, I have some photos here. Thank you, Pat, to show.
Okay. She's very upset about the White. Let me just tell you something, okay? I read this on X earlier today. Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing. Taft made the executive office oval. FDR added the entire East Wing and included an indoor pool for himself. Truman gutted the entire White House. Nixon added a bowling alley. Obama added a basketball court. And Trump is adding a ballroom. Why are we having such a meltdown? What is it? I mean, like, where was the meltdown over the basketball court? Why did we have a meltdown when Truman gutted the White House? Like the whole thing? Each president adds something. No one's destroying the East Wing for it never to be rebuilt. He's in construction. He saw a need. He found a way to fund it. And now every president who ever lives there will have an additional space in which to hold events, Stu.
Yeah, it's funny because the point of like, oh, I can't think of a better, personification of what's going on than taking a wrecking ball to the White House. First of all, I don't know who she heard it from backstage. It's funny that she's now admitting that she doesn't even have her own thoughts.
It was on Scarborough this morning. She heard it on Morning Joe, and she refused to give attribution.
Yeah, every left-wing person has tweeted something like this. I've seen that picture on Twitter 100 times already, and but that's not where he's in the coming days.
Yeah, this Saturday.
And you should get him to
go buy your tickets at MeganKelly.com.
I already have mine, Megan. I don't know what you're talking about. I already have
Awesome.
mine. But you should get him to tell this story because he was with Trump in the White House and they're walking around. And he's showing him, and he took Glenn on a tour of the White House and mapped this entire thing out to him, the entire ballroom, where it was going, how he was going to use it. It's fascinating. And, Donald Trump looks at this not because he likes things that are presidents in the future and will do something, will communicate something to the rest of the world. We're not in decline. We're not in managed decline. This is the golden age. This is what he wants people to believe about America, not just Americans, but the people that come over here that he has to have, deal in diplomacy and negotiations with. It's all part of, I do believe, an actual strategy here. And I think, honestly, future presidents are going to find it
if we get a Democrat elected next time around, God forbid, that person's not going to undo it. Even if they could get the private funding to undo it, they're not going to say, let's get rid of that terrible ballroom. They're all going to love having it. There's going to be concerts at the White House. There'll be balls at the White House. It'll be fun. It'll be something festive. And sure enough, it'll be someplace to entertain foreign dignitaries who literally are lining up for photo ops with our current resident of the White House. When Trump went over to the Middle East, they were waiting in a red rope line to have their picture taken with a fellow leader, Donald Trump. So yes, he does want something great.
I thought she was about to say with a felon, but no.
And at the White House to help show off American power and also just to entertain it. I mean, this is his business. You would not know that's all this was if you were just to watch, let's say, The View or Morning Joe. Just take a look at SOT 33B, which happened before her comments there. Okay. She's very upset about the White House. Let me just tell you something, okay?
New reporting today that the Treasury Department has instructed employees not to take or share photos of this. Demolition crews tearing into parts of the East Wing of the White House with bulldozers and cranes. The Wall Street Journal quotes an internal email requiring prior approval of the Office of Public Affairs before documenting what's going on. It's the site of what will ultimately be construction of President Trump's long-desired White House ballroom. MSNBC political analyst Juanita Tolliver joins us now. Juanita, let's just remind folks by playing what Donald Trump said we could expect. Take a listen.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite place. I love it.
I mean, is that why they don't want pictures taken of it? What do you think's going on here?
I think that's explicitly right, Chris. Look, his definition of respecting something is markedly different from mine or yours, or even the employees in the Treasury Department who submitted those visual images. Because what we see is destruction, demolition, and the symbolism is just staggering, Chris, especially knowing how Donald Trump has been committed to gutting the government, gutting the federal workforce since the moment he re-entered the White House this January. And so looking at these images, I'll be honest, I wasn't surprised because, let's be real, I don't take much of what comes out of Donald Trump's mouth as trustworthy or truthful. And it does beg further questions. If he wasn't honest about the proximity to the building, if he wasn't honest about the demolition of the East Wing, what else is he covering up? We know he also was inaccurate in
the Epstein files. The Epstein files are definitely being covered up. Instead of talking about, hey, release the Epstein files, for 2 days, we have been talking about the White House ballroom construction. For 2 days. Also because, there's no press inside the White House, so they don't have nothing else to talk about but the construction, what they can see going on the outside. But it's what's going on the inside that we should be more concerned about, like the government shutdown. We forgot about that. There's been ballroom mania for 2 days. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, she keeping that same energy. Release the Epstein files. If Trump don't land, Marjorie Taylor Greene's words, she said, if Trump don't get this damn health care right, Republicans are going to lose in the primaries coming up in 2026. That's from a Republican.
Naming the cost associated with this structure. And so when I think about that, my inclination is then to probe the money, where it's coming from. It's been reported it's coming from tech and crypto and defense companies, private entities. And so what do they get in return explicitly for financing this tacky golden ballroom that Donald Trump was desperate to have?
Well, there's been a lot of reporting about what you just said about the folks who have committed to $5 million more.
I find it alarming that she called the big, beautiful ballroom tacky when it'll be filled with gold and, white walls and gold fixtures and, guys dressed up like penguins serving world leaders all across this 90,000 square foot ballroom. I don't see nothing tacky about that night. Like nothing, there was nothing tacky about Melania's red Christmas trees lining the White House hallways. I mean, it was the most beautiful sight. It was big and beautiful, big, beautiful red trees. It wasn't tacky at all. I find it alarming that she would call it tacky.
A lot of tourists who were surprised by this. They were actually standing by the White House gate with their phones, getting videos saying, hey, I'm capturing history. The entire East Wing is going to be demolished. Now, people have mixed opinions about all of this. Tonight, we've learned the demolition is far more extensive than originally planned and without approval. President Trump's $200 million White House ballroom is privately funded. Tonight in the Oval Office, he said it will cost $300 million to complete the project and will allow the White House to host foreign leaders. The entire East Wing demolition has sparked some criticism, but the White House insists it's fake outrage from the left, adding there has been more than a dozen historical examples of presidential renovations throughout history. Tonight, President Trump speaking about the new developments.
We determined that after really a tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world, we determined that really knocking it down, trying to use...
I mean, look at the gold fixtures in the room, the gold seats. I mean, it's fit for a king. Why would you not want to have gold chandeliers costing $1 million a piece? Who, if you had a world leader in there, would you want to have, ring lights everywhere, or would you want to have $1 million chandelier draped in gold so they could be like, look at this big, beautiful chandelier that Trump placed over my table that just cost $1 million. I mean, it's just, let's be real, people. I want to learn how to waltz. I was talking about waltzing. I want to waltz in the White House ballroom, okay? And I want to see Trump. Trump has been taking ballroom dancing classes with Andrew Schultz's parents, and he wants to grace the floor when they you want to see somebody playing the violin over there in the corner, and playing the music, and then him take Melania on the dance floor and dance the night away, and there'll be spotlights on just him coming from every corner of the room, and then you could just see him gliding, because Trump is light on his feet. He may be a big guy, but he's light on his feet, and you can see that when he plays golf 300 days a year. You can see that how light he is on his feet, and I think it'll be amazing to see that, right? Wouldn't we all want that? It's un-American not to learn how to waltz in the White House ballroom. I think it's be un-American.
It's a little section. The East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. It was over the course of 100 years, it was changed. The columns were removed, and it was a much different building.
People have mixed opinions.
This is wrong. He shouldn't be focused on the damn ballroom. He should actually try to fix the families that are being broken, or just resign. He should be impeached and so many other things.
I think it's important to actually have the room for people to come out and visit. And honestly, I think I really support it because we're not paying for it. It's coming out of the funds from, lawsuits and things.
We're not paying for it. It's coming from the funds from lawsuits. He threw that in there, boy. What lawsuit? The one he's suing the American people for. Those Russian pro. Remember the Russian pro? That is so funny. Y'all gotta hear it again. Because I don't think y'all heard it.
And so many other things.
I think it's important to actually have the room for people to come out and visit. And honestly, I think I really support it because we're not paying for it. It's coming out of the the funds from lawsuits and things.
Trump is paying for it though, with your money. Okay, that shit. Crazy, right?
And some people told me that they were surprised that this was supposed to cost $200 million. But today in the Oval Office, again, the president said it was going to cost $300 million. Well, crews are expected to demolish the entire East Wing by the end of the weekend. But as for the actual ballroom, it's not expected to be completed until 2029. Near the White House, I'm Shamari.
We're hearing from sources that you might be the one to be the first to play in the big, beautiful ballroom. Is that true?
Man, I hope so. Ball till you fall. That's what I say.
Can you believe people are getting this worked up over a ballroom?
We, the people, elected this man overwhelmingly to be in that house. And he's going to build a big, beautiful addition. It's not going to take any of the taxpayers' money to do it. And thank God, if he's going to sidestep a few regulations, which I don't know that to be a fact, but I wouldn't be mad at him. I've built some things and trying to get things done with I can only imagine the regulations if he tried to do it all exactly by the book. It'd be like, all he has to do is say, we're going to put in a gender-neutral bathroom, and they'll be like, oh, we love your ballroom idea.
We're hearing from sources. You know who used to love the sweet sounds of jackhammers? CNN and Barack Hussein Obama.
Sounds like you're building another wing to the White House, but we appreciate you keeping your focus.
You can't even imagine, TJ. It's going to happen for the next 2 years. All of the banging, the jackhammering, the dust, the confusion, the noise of all places to do construction is happening right here, the front lawn of the White House.
It's a 4-year renovation project. Estimated cost $376 million.
Barry tore up the White House and spent $400 million in taxpayer money during a recession. And what did he have to show for it? New pipes and a basketball court.
I'm going to just say this. I think new pipes are important for any home or any building, especially a building that's been there for many, many years. So if you're not getting good water to your lines, you got to get the pipes under your house. Now, I paid during the pandemic, I paid $1,200. Actually, I paid about $1,800. I paid $1,800. Matter of fact, I used my stimulus check too. I used that $1,200 plus some of my money that some donors, and got the pipes because my house was built in 1955. So the house that was built in 1955, there was galvanization. It was like that. The pipe was like that big, but you only get about this much water through there because it was galvanized all through there. So that was just in 1955. Ain't no telling how long them pipes been under the White House. So using that money to make the water flow better, probably put in a water softener system and all that good stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, think about it. It ain't just like, And a basketball court. He probably spent the most of it on the basketball court.
That's it. Translation, the contractors took Obama to the cleaners. Trump spending less, $300 million on a big, beautiful ballroom, and you're not paying for it. No one's allowed to play ball on Barry's court, but you are allowed to dance the night away during Trump's third inauguration. But Hips isn't. He's ready to impeach.
Running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country, and probably soliciting.
Did he call him Hips? Hips?
Donations from people who've got business before the United States government, And all of this is going to have to be investigated. It will. All of this will have to be uncovered. It will. And these people are going to be held accountable, no matter how long it takes.
They're going to impeach the president for the third time because he built a ballroom? Suddenly, Democrats are worried about historic monuments.
Trump said, I'm going to do it. I want my ballroom. If Trump next week began demolition on the Washington Monument to make it more of a Mar-a-Lago looking thing, would Republicans stand up and say anything?
The people who rip down famous statues now care about preserving American history. Since when do Democrats care so much about the White House structure? They told us the White House was built on racism.
According to a lot of those statues were kind of what, unless y'all want to make America great in that way, a lot of those statues were losers with the Confederate Army. Losers, racists, slave owners, grapists. I mean, we could go on and on. Mass murderers. We could go on and on. But I mean, if y'all want to make America great and keep that part of America, y'all want to keep that part of American history, but y'all don't want to keep the part where Jerry Jones was keeping blacks out of his high school. Y'all want to take that part of America out. Y'all want to call it critical race theory and say we can't teach critical race theory because that's not the American history we want. But then you mad about the history where people were murderers and rapists and, you know, wanted to keep America slavery again. That's what we should be arguing. That's gonna make sense. You can't argue that and be like, oh, that's just like I don't give a shit about the ballroom. Like, okay, you're gonna build the ballroom and somebody else is paying for it. That's great. But then also you're suing the Department of Justice. I don't think y'all catching on.
The White House Historical Association, enslaved human beings were likely involved in all aspects of the construction, including the carpentry, masonry, carting, rafting, plastering, glazing, and painting.
BLM was trying to burn the White House down, and Democrats were mad Trump put around a fence. The left doesn't want America to be beautiful. They don't think we deserve it.
He actually put up a fence to keep out the people from January 6th because he knew it was coming. But whatever, nobody seems to believe that. He should have put a White House. They should have put a fence around the Capitol because that's where they stormed the Capitol. No fence. They were actually scaling walls like it was America's top ninja. Okay, I mean, I've never seen so many people being able to scale a wall with no rope. They were reaching down for each other, pulling each other up. They were climbing up like crabs in a barrel. It was amazing to watch until somebody got killed. And then it was just like, oh shit, it just got real.
Have you raised the full $300 million needed to fund your? Have you raised the full $300 million needed to fund your ballroom? And how much specifically are you donating to this construction
raised,
project?
I think $350 million. So all donor money and money that we put up, we've raised. It's going to be. It's going to cost right in the neighborhood of $300 million. It's been expanded and made.
Last month, the Justice Department sued Pennsylvania and 7 other states for refusing to turn over personal voter data in their statewide voter registration lists. Joining me now is Al Schmidt, the Pennsylvania Secretary of the Commonwealth, who is the state's top election official. Mr. Secretary, the voter lists that the Department of Justice is suing to get from you all include information like date of birth and the last 4 digits of Social Security numbers. You have offered to give the Department of Justice publicly available voter files. Why won't you turn over this additional information that they're asking for?
The Department of Justice is welcome to the public information that we make available according to the Pennsylvania laws.
They trying to get that money back. They trying to get that money so when Trump sue them, they can get it from the state instead of federal tax dollars. So they just passing the buck along, so your state's going to be paying for this.
For 8.8 million registered voters, what we will not provide is the Social Security numbers or driver's license numbers. And that's because it's at odds with state law, it's at odds with federal law, and it's at odds with our Constitution here in Pennsylvania.
What are your concerns with turning over that kind of voter information? What could happen with that you're worried about?
You're going to find out that dead people was voting.
Well, it's very sensitive information, and I do a lot of events all over the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And one thing that I've heard from Democrats and Republicans alike is a gratitude for not providing all this sensitive information to the federal government, but really it's not something worthy of a compliment. Our laws prohibit us from providing that information to the federal government. Even if we wanted to, in this administration or any other, our laws would prohibit us from doing so.
So you're saying it would be illegal for you to turn this over?
It would be not legal, for sure, for us to turn this over, and that is why we denied the requests from the Department of Justice. The interaction has in no way been hostile from our perspective. We are willing to share everything that is publicly available with the Department of Justice.
Reading through this complaint that the
Pennsylvania is a red state, and they are doing this to a red state. I don't know why, because they won that state, but they need that information.
Department filed back in September for Pennsylvania, they write that the Commonwealth does not appear to have any process in place to make any determination about whether there are non-citizens on the voter rolls. That's the allegation from the Department of Justice. Is that true?
That is factually inaccurate. Our system in Pennsylvania with automatic voter registration, which was implemented by the Shapiro administration, prevents non-citizens from ever interfacing with the voter registration process when getting a driver's license, if they are eligible in Pennsylvania. In addition, if someone applies using, let's say, a paper application, they're swearing and affirming under penalty of federal perjury charges, prosecution, and deportation that they are eligible to register to vote in Pennsylvania. And it's the same in many other states as well.
Is there?
I think this is very important, this clip right here, because in California, they gave 60,000 CDL licenses to illegal immigrants. 60,000 illegal immigrants, one had driver license or a Class A license, which same thing. So 60,000 illegal immigrants were allowed to drive. So if they have a license, then they can register to vote, which means that they can vote. So I'm just saying, kind of makes sense, but you have to. That's in California. California does a lot of. California is the reason why the government is shut down right now, because California has an illegal immigration problem and giving American documents to illegal immigrants. And they should be under investigation. I think we're going to do a whole show on California and how corrupt it is and how it's holding up America from moving forward. And specifically because of the situation where 3 people were killed in a car accident because they were at a stop and a semi plowed through a number of vehicles, and the guy was an illegal immigrant. He was 21 years old, and he was booked on suspicion of driving under the influence. And in that accident, 3 people died. and this happened in California, and this guy had a CDL from California. So, important fact that should be noted. Okay? So, with them investigating them about having illegals, it's Pennsylvania. I mean, if they have 1 million Amish there, I doubt they're illegal, but they're probably unidentified, or, you know, they're just random people. But I think it's something that needs to be had, because if you can by his statement, those people who have driver's license have to register to vote, and if they got a driver's license, they register to vote, and then they can vote. And that's California probably has a problem with their voter registration.
A process that the secretary's office goes through to clean up the voter rolls.
Every election in Pennsylvania is subject to 2 audits after every election conducted at the county level to make sure that the results are accurate. So I can assure you that we take election integrity very seriously. We appreciate the federal government's interest in all this, but I've been an election commissioner in the largest county in Pennsylvania for more than 10 years when I was city commissioner of Philadelphia. And I assure you, as a Republican election commissioner, I take election integrity allegations very seriously. I've investigated hundreds of cases to determine whether voters are eligible or not, and when warranted, referred them to federal, state, or local law enforcement for further investigation, and when warranted, prosecution.
Your role is a nonpartisan role, but you are a Republican, and Republicans are historically the party of small government. Is this kind of action that the Department of Justice taking right now, is that the kind of action that a Republican administration should be taking?
And I think that's a great question, Liz, and that might be why you haven't seen any daylight between different states when it comes to these requests from the Department of Justice and whether they are responding and providing their voters sensitive personal information or not. It's really not a red state or blue state thing. It is in my view, a concerning attempt, a concerning effort to consolidate and overreach at the federal level. In the United States of America, it's the states who run elections, not the federal government.
There are many Democrats who pointed to Donald Trump before the 24 election, saying he was challenging the integrity of the election by saying almost exactly what you're saying about him now. Why do you think he's going to steal the election?
What I'm telling you is you can just look back in his own history, that back to 2020, after the election, when he claimed fraud, he claimed it had been stolen from him. And he and Michael Flynn discussed, and Michael Flynn very publicly talked about, maybe we should use troops and go in and seize the ballot boxes and count the votes. You don't think Donald Trump heard that and thought maybe that's a good idea? And here we are. He's sending troops onto the streets of American cities, into blue states in blue cities, and he's calling it about crime, but that's not at all what it's about.
Saying this now, that you are somehow challenging the integrity of the next election.
No, he is challenging the integrity of the next election, but yes, he is challenging the integrity of the next election by sending troops into our cities. That's what I believe this is about. It isn't about fighting crime.
It's not about fighting crime.
He said he's going after the worst of the worst. That is not what they're doing. They are literally going after black and brown people because of the color of their skin.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay, we're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring...
They're going to be like dead. It's like an island surrounded by water. big ocean water.
Would you support Senator Lindsey Graham's bill to declare Russia a terrorist state? And you have within your power, you're the most powerful man on earth. Why don't you just enable Ukraine to finish this war tomorrow?
Well, if you knew anything about what you were talking about, you'd be able. You do. I don't think you do, really. I don't think you do because it's a little more complicated than that. But it sounds easy. We're in the process of trying to make a deal. If we make a deal, that's great. If we don't make a deal, it'll be a lot of people are going to be paying a big price. Quiet.
Would you support Senator Lindsey Graham's bill to declare Russia a terrorist state? And you have within your power, you're the most powerful man on earth. Why don't you just enable Ukraine to finish this war tomorrow?
Well, if you knew anything about what you were talking about, you'd be able. You do. I don't think you do, really. I don't think you do because it's a little more complicated.
What's y'all take on this? It's kind of crazy. I don't know.
An important word from our most esteemed leader of the United States.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay.
Please get this geriatric motherfucker out of office. Please.
Break. Yeah, and Rosanna, that's a great point. I mean, you did see him shape the New York City skyline.
Absolutely. And it's not like he's building one of those skyscrapers with gold windows, right, on the White House property. It's going to be obviously something that leaves his mark on American history that's beautiful and Americans can take pride in. He just came back from Buckingham Palace where he sat down with King Charles. I'm sure he looked at their ballroom and said, the White House doesn't come close to this. And he is a builder, and he's done many beautiful buildings here. And he's done some city projects that couldn't get done, that took years and years, and they spent millions and millions of dollars and never, the Woolman skating ring. That's the first time.
It's an iconic thing in New York City.
Right, which they could not get it done. And he did it in a few months and under budget.
Well, and look at how much break.
Yeah, and Rosanna, that's a great point. I mean,
The unnecessary pain, unfortunately, does not end there. Funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP, which provides food benefits to low-income families, is beginning to lapse this week in some states. If Democrats continue to hold Americans hostage, there will not be enough funds to provide SNAP benefits for more than 40 million Americans on November 1st. That is next week. Democrats are solely responsible for all of this unnecessary pain. Why are they doing it? To give taxpayer-funded health care benefits to illegal aliens, some of whom are violent criminals. Since I've found many in this room to repeatedly deny the reality that Democrats gave Medicaid benefits to illegals, and they continue to seek to do just that, I've brought a few verified examples for you today. These are examples of some of the illegals who received Medicaid benefits under President Biden's leadership, and this is what Democrats are wanting to do. This is why they are continuing to keep the government closed. An illegal alien from Laos was arrested for murder, robbery, and felony possession of a firearm. An illegal alien from Guatemala who was arrested for rape and burglary. An illegal alien from El Salvador who was arrested for strangulation, DUI, and burglary. An illegal alien from Mexico who was arrested for attempted murder. The Democrats' open border policies allowed these threats into our country, and then they provided them with free health care. Since I've found many in this room to repeatedly deny the reality that Democrats gave Medicaid benefits to illegals, and they continue to seek to do just
in this environment, you're demonizing ICE agents. If some ICE agent gets killed, and we just saw an assassination attempt down in Dallas, isn't that not something that we should be really talking about like that?
The thing that we're demonizing is when ICE agents aren't following protocols. They aren't acting like law enforcement should act. They're instead literally racially profiling. We've seen it. All you have to do is go online and look at some of the videos. Just to be clear, because I think many people that are listening maybe haven't seen that
You don't
before.
think you're painting with a broad brush of all the ICE agents that are doing their job?
No, we're saying that if you're an ICE agent and you do these things, we think you ought to be held accountable. And yet no one in Washington, no one above them, no supervisor, no inspector general is holding anybody accountable. There literally haven't been any suspensions or firings for the terrible things that they've done, literally grabbing people, tackling them when they're U.S. citizens and have done zero
You've
wrong.
referred in this environment, you're demonizing.
New York Attorney.
Why?
New York.
In this environment.
New York Attorney General Letitia James just pleaded not guilty in federal court in Norfolk, Virginia. It is her first court appearance on a 2-count bank fraud indictment tied to a 2020 home purchase. Prosecutors say Letitia James signed a second home rider agreeing the property would be for her personal use, which got her a better loan term. They say she then rented that house out to a family member instead of actually living in it. Expected to file now, she and her attorneys, a motion to dismiss the case, which she has called vindictive and selective prosecution. She's expected to speak at any moment outside court. We will take you there live. New York Attorney General Letitia James.
Why does Chicago have the highest murder rate of all the big cities?
Well, we are not in the top 30 in terms of our murder rate. Indeed,
the murder
our murder rate it has been cut in half over the last 4 years, and every year it's gone down by double digits. And if you look at all of the violent crime over the last 4 years,
here's a map.
They've all gone down.
U.S. cities, 17.47 per 100,000 population. Chicago is number 1 over Philadelphia, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles, New York, and San Diego.
What I'm explaining to you
now
is
you're
when
talking
you want to
about
fight
violent
crime. Look, you can pull statistics up.
No,
I can
these are
too.
murders.
I'm explaining to you that our murder rate has been cut in half. And very importantly, Brett, and you got to hear this, very importantly, we've been doing the things that are necessary to bring crime down, right? We've invested in community violence interruption. We've invested in police. I've added more state police than any governor in quite a long time. It's very important that we do both of those things and more to invest in our communities so that we bring crime down. We're doing that. You know who's doing the opposite? Donald Trump.
Why does Chicago have the highest murder rate of all the big cities?
Well, we are not in the top 30 in terms of our murder rate. Indeed, our murder rate it has been cut in half over the last 4 years, and every year it's gone down by double digits. And if you look at all of the violent crime over the last 4 years,
here's a map.
They've all gone down.
U.S. cities, 17.47 per 100,000 population. Chicago is number 1 over Philadelphia, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles, New York, and San Diego.
What I'm explaining to you is
you're
when
talking
you want to
about
fight
violent
crime. Look, you can pull statistics up. I can
these are
too.
murders.
I'm explaining to you that our murder rate has been cut in half.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rubin. I feel compelled to speak out against this misinformation because I currently practice in the western suburbs of Chicago, but I also did my pediatrics residency training at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and that graphic by Fox News was highly misleading. One, they don't put a source for the information that they got that from, but more importantly, they don't define for you what a big city is. Is it based off of 100,000 people, 250,000, 500,000, 1 million plus? They don't state that. But if you look at data for any city that has at least 250,000 people, Chicago is not that high per capita homicide rate. If you compare it to Milwaukee, which is neighboring, they've got 23 per 100,000. If you look at St. Louis, which is close by, it's 69 per 100,000. Baltimore, 50 per 100,000. New Orleans, 40 per 100,000, as well as Memphis, which is similar to that. And there are several other cities that are significantly higher than Chicago. So to anybody who is watching this video, I highly encourage you that whenever you're presented data like this, you should make sure that you're interpreting it critically to make sure you get the entire picture about what's going on. Don't be afraid to ask questions about it and to share this message widely so that others are aware of how cherry picking like this happens.
But see, reason why I play both of those clips is because the other night someone says, you get all your facts from social media and stuff like this. Well, these are the people who are doing the research, the actual people, the actual creators. The creators are doing the research. Fox News is cherry picking information that they want to put out. CNN cherry picks information they want to put out. What do y'all talk about? Are we going to continue to watch the news and be like, oh, they're telling the truth, they got the answers? No, sometimes these independent investigators who aren't bound by any rules of the establishment, then sometimes you gotta see what the content creators, because a lot of them are doing their own investigations properly and doing the research. These are scholars, these are real people, but y'all want to sit back and listen to Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and just completely believe everything that you hear. I mean, if you believe anything that come out of Trump's mouth, then obviously, you're completely delusional, because he moves the goalposts every chance he gets. So, sometimes you got to bring out the real information from content creators who actually do it. And they're not just somebody on TikTok. These are educated, informed individuals. Sometimes we watch some just random content creators like myself, but sometimes you got to get the real information from Dr. Rubin, MD.
You cannot disclose the identity of a federal agent, where they live, anything that could harm them. Pritzker, same ballgame with him. And, Pelosi got a letter today from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. So did Brooke Jenkins, that DA in San Francisco. We told them, preserve your emails, preserve everything you have on this topic, because if you are telling people to arrest our ICE officers, our federal agents, you cannot do that. You're impeding an investigation, and we will charge them if they think they have not met me, because we will charge them if they are violating the law. We will protect our federal agents. They're out there working nonstop, as you're showing right now during a shutdown. These people are out there working to keep Californians safe, yet you've got Pelosi out there saying to obstruct their investigation. You can't do it, and we're going to investigate her now, as well as that DA.
The language, to me, that they're using is very clear. It's beyond resist. It's beyond First Amendment protected speech. That's all fine. This is actively impeding and threatening law enforcement agents. They're not the only ones who have guns and all that language.
Well, look, I've never seen anything like this. I started back in 1984. I've been doing this a long time. And look, that's why we're working very closely with the Department of Justice. We have increased prosecutions for impediment tenfold. I looked at the numbers the other day. We got the highest number of prosecutions for interference and impediment than I've ever seen. Attacks on ICE officers, as you know, it's up over 1,000%. And this rhetoric is just, if this rhetoric doesn't stop, I said this back in March when the rhetoric was rising. I said that this
it's on both sides. Both sides are using terrible rhetoric. It's basically, you just go by whatever your party is. If your party is spewing a bunch of nonsense, you're going to be like, yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense we should go with. But
rhetoric doesn't slow down, someone's going to die. And the left went crazy that I would say something like that. Well, they have. Unfortunately, I was right. We had a shooter die attacking a Border Patrol facility. We had an officer shot when people attacked an ICE detention facility. We had a sniper attack a Dallas facility and killed a couple of detainees. We've had several shootings in the last week. And it's not going to stop unless the rhetoric goes away. So when the congressman says
I'm trying to figure out how a sniper killing detainees has anything to do with the rhetoric that liberals and the left and Democrats are saying, because it's kind of counterproductive to what that person would actually do if they killed illegals, if they're trying to save illegals, or they trying to, I don't know. Doesn't make sense, but they keep pushing the line. I guess if they say it enough, then they'll start to believe it.
He's going to prosecute people, hold people accountable. Hold them accountable for what? For enforcing the laws? that you enacted? If Congress, if ICE are racist and terrorists for enforcing the law, what's that make them? They wrote the law. We're doing exactly what Congress wrote with the laws they enacted that was signed by the president and that were appropriated with funding to do.
Now this is some news we want to hear. America being America. And if y'all don't know what America does best, is war.
And now to this developing story at this hour, a big development in the Trump administration's war on narco-terrorists. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth directing the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group to the U.S. Southern Command. That's the command responsible for operations in and around Central and South America. The War Department says the move will boost U.S. capacity to detect, monitor, and disrupt threats to the U.S. homeland. And now to this developing story at this hour.
Good morning. Yes, and anytime you see us here outside at the White House, we are coming to you from the west side of campus. Over on the east side, across the lawn, the walls are coming down, and we have some video of this yesterday. Parts of the East Wing have now been demolished to be modernized and to make room for a new privately funded ballroom. A sampling of the Democratic reaction reads like this. Hillary Clinton says, "It's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it." Gavin Newsom says, "Ripping apart the White House just like he's ripping apart the Constitution." And Elizabeth Warren says, "Oh, you're trying to say the cost of living is skyrocketing. Donald Trump can't hear you over the sound of bulldozers demolishing a wing of the White House to build a brand new ballroom." And this isn't the first time that the White House has had work done. Go back to 1902. Teddy Roosevelt added the whole West Wing. 1909, Taft added the Oval Office. 33, FDR installed a swimming pool. 52, Truman gutted the entire inside of the White House and added a bowling alley. And then in 2009, outside, President Obama added a basketball court. President Trump, with this project, has courted wealthy outside donors. So,
I mean, we keep going back to this basketball thing. I think that's like, out of the bowling alley and everything, I think the basketball court is the worst of all. Like, how tacky is a basketball court? A basketball court sounds tacky as hell. Like, who wants a basketball where you lay your head? You know, especially someone like the president. As esteemed as the president is, I find it very tacky that Obama would put a basketball court out there. It's like, I mean, if you ask me, it's ghetto.
this isn't taxpayer funded, which is why the construction continues during a shutdown.
We're putting up our own money with the government is paying for nothing. You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound.
Administration after administration have publicly and privately spoken about the need for a larger event space. So while many presidents have privately dreamt about this, it's President Trump who is actually doing something about it.
And something that seems to be lost with all of the discourse about the new ballroom. The Democrats complaining about the new ballroom can use the new ballroom. They just have to win back the White House. Back to you. Good morning. Yes, and anytime you see us here outside at the White House, we are...
And finally, we've made it to the finale.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
A moment ago, you said that if Secretary Hegseth went to Congress and briefed them on the operations
No, we
against
will
these,
go, I said.
You will go. And
we
it would
will
be
go.
difficult
We're
for them
gonna
to
go.
object.
I don't see any loss in going. No reason not to. You know, they'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go.
And Mr.
We're going to
President-
tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress...
We are declaring war against Venezuela. It is about to be a long 3 years of presidency, and we won't get to see the ballroom until 2029, where we will probably see Trump running for president in 2028. So we're gonna have a long time to talk about this, okay? We're going to have a long time to talk about this. We're going to have a long time to talk about, you know, how the ballroom is coming. at this point, it's going down. So do I care? Not really. I think anybody who's focused on the construction of the ballroom is really you're kind of behind. You're kind of behind schedule. But I think where the money is coming from that's troubling. But also with this investigation that's going on with Donald Trump, I mean, there was no Russian collusion that was found, right? But it was a necessary investigation because Trump was also saying that the voting machines were rigged. So if the voting machines was rigged and he won the presidency, then he did lose the popular vote, but he won the electoral college. So, he wasn't the most popular, but he won in the parts that mattered. So again, he says it's collusion. There was no collusion, but there was collusion on the Democrats' part, but not the collusion on him. But they found a lot of shit. I mean, he was convicted. He was arrested. A lot of these indictments haven't led to any arrest. James Comey hasn't been arrested. Letitia James hasn't been arrested. Donald Trump was arrested. He has a mugshot, and he wanted that mugshot. So the fact that there is that, it just lets you know. I mean, if there's smoke, there's fire. But he only became president to elude being placed in jail. That was the only reason why he became president. Because January 6th we all watched it. We all saw what happened. Like, if you didn't see what happened, then you probably you're probably in denial about what happened. Honestly, you're in denial about what happened. A lot of us don't really care about a lot of the shit that be going on with the government. But there's a few key points that be like, you know what? I should pay attention to this. Like healthcare. Where's the money go? Why is the government shut down? If you ain't paying attention to that, then you haven't watched my show all the way through. Because I've talked about it and I've shown where, what the Democrat stance was and what the Republican stance was. And honestly, it all makes sense. But somewhere they got to find a happy medium, and they're not trying to. They're not trying to find a happy medium because they have to continue with Project 2025, which also leads to some other disturbing news, which will happen with Project 2025. And, the reason there's a No Kings rally. There's a No Kings rally, but then you have a president who doesn't want to leave office until he dies. And when he dies, who does he want to leave it to? He wants to leave it to Don Jr. or whatever the other one's name is. I don't know what the other one's name is. Don Jr.'s a doofus. Or maybe he'll leave it to Barron Hill. We don't know what type of what Barron has up his sleeves, and so the ballroom is a less of. And you know what I did? I was trying to we do need a final exam. I was trying to find so many Republicans speaking out or speaking up about the ballroom. Republicans aren't worried about it. Republicans don't give a shit about the ballroom. Republicans don't give a shit about where the money's coming from. Republicans don't care if he's suing the Department of Justice. The Republicans only care that Donald Trump is in office. They don't care about the farmers. They don't give a damn about the soybeans. They're not speaking out about none of this. They're not. Because why would they when they are the winning party? They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They don't give an actual flying freak. But, as I said, I was going to try to find as much as I could. I spent all day scouring TikTok, and I will find something on YouTube and I'll go to TikTok and I'll put it in so I can be like, okay, I need to hit this talking point, get this person in there. But you know what? It's not enough. It's not enough Republicans speaking out. They're not speaking for or against it. Quiet as a church mouse, the Republican Party is, because they got what they want. They're not going to do anything but show up to the polls. One thing they said was, oh, we don't go out and protest, we go vote. But in all of the most of the major cities with the most amount of voters, Donald Trump lost all those votes. He didn't win the popular votes in most of the major cities. He won the votes of Idaho and Montana and North Dakota, South Dakota, you know, shit like that. You know, which some of those states have the population of Los Angeles by itself. So it's just like, you know, okay. You know, it is what it is. It may look good, but when you win a presidency over only by a few million votes, probably not this last presidency, because of course nobody wanted to vote for Joe Biden, and of course nobody wanted to vote for Kamala Harris for whatever reason. I think it's a lot of self-hate right there, but that's neither here nor there. But she didn't have enough time to campaign on her values. She was piggybacking off of Joe Biden, which I think was a very bad mistake. And also Kamala did not go to the right. She didn't reach the right people. She tried to cram in a bunch of major news outlets and didn't go to the people where the people are. And I think the people felt they were ignored by her. So, you know, that's her fault. But either way it go, I'm gonna just say we shouldn't be voting in another. We shouldn't vote Trump in another third term. That's just fuck the Constitution. I don't give a damn. Even if they change the Constitution, this man should not be president. Because it's creating too much divisiveness, and it's showing no signs of, you know, coming back from it. This is the most divisive our country has ever been in my lifetime. From the age of about 28 to now, and I'm 40, about 28 to now, I've never seen a country more divided. And it makes absolutely no sense that this country is just divided. And we talk so bad about our own people, but we Americans. So we talk hella bad about our own people. And I don't know. Maybe y'all know something better than I know, but it's like, and then to have, this is the most embarrassing part, is it's not that Trump put a meme out or a little AI video. It was just in the nature of the AI video of him flying a jet with a crown on his head, dropping shit bombs on American people. I don't care if Lincoln would have never done it, because Lincoln would have never had the internet. I don't care if anybody else would have done it, because nobody had the internet. We talking about what we have now. That's embarrassing. Imagine what another country is be like. Oh, y'all think y'all got it bad? Y'all think y'all got it bad? Look what he's doing look what he does to his citizens. He flies over them, drops shit bombs on his own citizens who peacefully protest. Yeah, that's something to look forward to, I guess, you know. But it is what it is. I'm sorry if I don't want to troll as a president. It may be funny if it wasn't the president. It would actually be funny if it wasn't the president. but it's the president. It's not funny. It's not hilarious. It's childish. Funny. No, I don't know. I don't know what's funny. But, you know, I mean, how is it funny though? How is it funny? Just imagine this. Just imagine this. Your kid is in school, right? You got a kid, right? Your kid is in school. And your kid's teacher creates a video of her shitting on your student. Would it be funny? Would, if it's your kid? Oh, her teacher's hilarious. I can't believe she made a video of her shitting on my daughter. That's so funny. Okay. That's not funny. I don't think that's funny at all. But I mean, hey, if that's funny, then maybe Democrats should do the same thing. Maybe we should have a war of memes within our political government. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing if our political, the congressmen and women, we could like see who made the best meme. And like that would determine my vote. That would actually determine my vote. You know? That would actually, like, it would be amazing to see. Like, it would be like roast battles. Like that. We should just bring roast battles. Let's not even have debates. Like, let's see who got the best roast. Like, let's just do that. I'd rather have fun. I'd rather laugh than be serious about my government. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like it'd be better to, laugh. Oh, shit. So, I mean, it is what it is. But thank you all for watching. We had a wonderful Saturday night or Friday night. Again, come back tomorrow. Watch all the rest of the videos tomorrow. Watch all the rest of the political videos, because you will see them tomorrow from the other night. They are broken down in clips, so you could just pick which one you want to decide to watch and see if it's like, if you didn't catch all of one live, you could catch it in smaller clips. So just check them out and, tell me what y'all think. I think we got MAGA Mike's videos coming up tomorrow. MAGA Mike. But yeah. All right, everyday people. I will holler at y'all later. Thank y'all. Peace. Politics is wild. Very, very wild. Robin B, thank you for the floating hearts. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate you so much. Shout out to Robin B. Shout out to everybody who follow me on Twitch, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Again, y'all could go to Twitch and follow me, and y'all see the videos that you'll see, the behind the scenes recordings of videos that are released on YouTube. So, if you want to just check it all out, you check it out there. That's where we're going to be. See y'all tomorrow.